The very important thing, the first thing is in managing the conflict is positive intent. Yesterday we discussed about positive intent. So what is positive intent? What do you mean by positive attitude? Have you heard of positive attitude, right? So what is positive attitude means?
See the good things.
See the good things in others, right? So in positive intent means that we assume whatever other peoples are doing, they are doing in good faith. They are doing with a good intention, not with a bad intention. So once you practice this, it doesn't come naturally. Naturally, a negative intent comes first. That is our brain wiring. We get the negative things faster than the positive things. Okay, but it needs a practice, continuous practice, to find out the positive areas. Okay, the positive areas will not come naturally, but you have to find it. So positive intent means that we want to believe, or we believe that other person, whatever they are doing in a good faith. They don't have a bad intention, right? So the positive intent is we need to keep, so it help us to keep the talk in a best in a right track, right? By assuming best and expressing your willingness to cooperate. So we assume everybody is willing to do the business. They are willing to cooperate, correct? So look for the areas of agreement. As we said, what you are doing is we find a common goal first, right? What is the goal of both the parties? And then you will be able to find the ways. Because if you don't find the common areas of agreement, it will be very difficult to resolve the conflict. Because you want to focus on the goal, not on the person, not on the behavior. How we can reach the goal, right? Acknowledge others' viewpoint. So you need to understand the others' viewpoint as well. Why they are not able to do. So not only acknowledge, you need to understand. So yesterday we discussed about empathy, right? Active listening means the feeling behind somebody is saying something or doing something. They may have some reasons why they are not able to follow the deadlines, why they are not able to understand the policies. Maybe they are weak in English. Maybe they are not that educated to follow the format you are doing. Maybe if your formats have lot of formula or Excel or complicated programming, they may not be educated enough, right? So you want their work to be simpler. So this is how you can find ways to resolve the conflict, and then restate what you heard. That is a part of active listening. When you hear something, you need to rephrase, paraphrase your understanding to confirm what you understand is correct. Normally we make assumptions instead of clarifying. When we hear something, okay, maybe the person say I cannot do this, so we just hear cannot do this and we assume the person don't want to do, or person don't have ability to do. We don't ask why. Let me understand, are you not able to do it, or there is any other problem to do it, right? So we need to be able to clarify. Don't make assumptions. That is very important in communication. No assumptions. We discussed about the element of message. Means the message need to be clear. So clear message means there is no room for interpretation. Okay, you don't want to leave a lot of room for interpretation. We are not living in the world of, we are not a computer program. You know, when we are sending an email to another person, they have exactly the same protocol to decode your message. So that is why your message, when you send the message, anything you from here, it exactly go the same in the other people's messaging system. Why? Because the encoding and decoding is same. How you encode the message and how the other program decode the message is exactly the same. But it doesn't work with the humans. Unfortunately, every mind is a different computer, and they have different encoding and decoding process, right? Our process is defined by our surroundings, our environment, our education, our understanding, our behaviors, who is living with us, and also the emotions at that point of time. You will feel if you fight with your wife in the morning, whatever emails you get that morning, you always will see why negative, 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 negative. Everything will be negative because you already start your day with the negative feelings, right? Next day, if you are happy, your wife make love, then next day you are very happy because you are happy, you have positive feelings. So whatever comes, even though a threat comes, you will still take it positively, right? Not that emotionally damaging. So our decoding system works on an emotion basis. So when we are doing a communication or we are doing a positive intent, the first thing we need to do is remove emotions. Emotion is a very big filter in our communication process as a human. So we need to remove that thing from our brains first when we are reading the messages. Okay, don't take the emotional filters into the process. If you take emotional filters into the process, you're gone. Okay, and that is why this is another way of doing it. Rephrase whatever you have heard in your understanding and put it back, so that you can make sure other people want to say the same thing what you have understood, right? And then offer an apology if appropriate. How often you say sorry? Not by hitting somebody, just that is normal, is human reaction. But in a business communication, how often do you say sorry or acknowledge your mistakes? Or you get more as a time you get defensive.
Normally less, very less.
Normally very less, right?
Yeah.
Normally you get defensive. How come he say I'm mistake? No, I'm not at a mistake, right? Or you try to find a way that will show you are not at a mistake, correct? Instead of just plain accepting that okay, I am at mistake, is sorry. It happens with me too. Most of the time it happens. If you feel that you are making a mistake, oh my god, it's very difficult to say sorry, right? Especially to others.
Yes.
You may acknowledge you are at a mistake, but you may not be able to apologize, right? So it's very difficult to apologize. So apologizing is a very difficult skill to master. I work in hospitality, so for me it comes naturally now to say sorry, because even it's not our mistake, we still say sorry because of the guest. The guest is always right. We have a policy, right? Guest is always right. So even if the guest is wrong, we know it wrong, but we still have to say sorry to him because of his convenience, any time of convenience, even because of his own mistake. He don't see the floor is wet, he slipped, we have to say sorry, right? That is the hospitality. So in hospitality is different. We say sorry all the time. Our mistake or somebody else's mistake, we say sorry first.
And then the banking sector also.
Yeah, banking sector also, sorry sir. Sorry for your inconvenience. But sometimes too many apologies becomes usual, and now it irritates me. If you say sorry too many times, it means it's a robotic sorry. That is not the right way. If you try, even though I know it's not your mistake, you are still saying sorry, it means it's not a sincere sorry, right? Yeah. So that frustrates people. So you need to say sorry only when it is really needed. It's really your mistake and you can do it. So but to say sorry, it takes a lot of courage. Okay, so that courage is not everywhere. And as we said, focus on behavior, not their personality. Don't do the personal attacks on people's. Express a concern for mutual gain. So as we said, this common areas. So how we gain together, like a win-win situation, right? In negotiations, we will have a future one slide on negotiations where we will discuss on win-win situations. Most of the time we talk about win-win, right? But how many really time we do win-win? We want to do win-lose. I win, you lose, right? Not win, I win, you win. But in the business, it doesn't work. So some example. Now